Hello and welcome to this month's Fire Chief's video message. This month I'm joined with Lieutenant Dave Kennedy. Dave, you've heard us talk about the elements I've presented here before about your roles that you're taking on within inside our department. Now you're here today. Can you tell us what you're doing and welcome to the videos.
Chief, thanks for having me. And of course, it's good to be here. And now this will help me and enable me to kind of educate the workforce on what my actual role and responsibilities are as far as the EEO officer, diversity officer. We have a number of things in the works right now. We are getting ready to implement some training. As you know, the online e-course that myself and Jeff Firetag have been working on along with the county EEO officer, Angela Washington. And I got to say before I go on that Jeff Firetag has done an unbelievable job in putting this thing together and arranging it. And it's not going to be like the typical training. It's going to be more interactive, which is going to help the members and employees be more educated on diversity and EEO issues. Also with that, that's going to be the first phase. The second phase is we're going to have battalion-based training, and we're also going to take it to the stations. Our goal is to have an annual EEO training, diversity training, because we want to be proactive when it comes to preventing any EEO issues or diversity issues. So with that said, we are pretty good, but we could always be better.
Right, good point. Good point. So with 2,600 people within our organization that are service providers and several hundred other additional administrative and support personnel, you got a lot of people out there to touch. So how do you plan on going about that?
Well, we think we can capture everybody at the battalion in service type of format, because then we can get the large groups. And then on top of that, like I said, and this includes volunteer and career, not just career. And then we can get more personal with the one-on-one in-house station conversations and dialogues, because then it enables everybody to ask questions about the video training. Speak louder. Because then it enables everybody to ask questions about the online training, which everybody's going to have.
So that is going to take all of next year and maybe beyond to get through the station delivery model after the video.
Correct, about a year.
Okay.
Our goal is a year.
Okay.
We should be able to take care of that in a year.
So what other initiatives are you jumping into and working on in your new roles?
Okay, a couple other initiatives that we're doing is as far as recruiting. We're revamping the recruiting efforts. We want to, because the workforce should reflect the community we serve. We are in one of the most diverse counties in not only the state but in the country, and it's continually changing. So, with that said, so is the actual workers that we have.
And we had two open forum sessions at the academy several weeks back where we asked people to come and join us.
Correct.
And people of our department who are interested in the recruiting effort. We had a really good turnout. What did we learn from those meetings, and where do you see us going in the short term with our recruiting activities?
Well, again, I agree with you. It was a big turnout. It was a lot of people that were interested in the recruiting efforts, and there's a lot of people passionate just about the whole change and hiring process and recruiting efforts and the diversity and EEO initiative in general is overwhelming. I think that with all the minds that were in the meetings, there are so many different ideas, so we have so many options and creative options that we could take advantage of, along with personnel, to reach all the different diverse groups and not just one certain group.
Right, and I've seen people at headquarters getting ready, getting things back ramped up in the recruiting activities, and we know that people have already started going to the street and going to events. We're trying to look at the schedule going forward and see when we'll have our test and the components there. Naturally, we've deferred that recruit class from starting in May, as it was originally planned with the FY16 budget, and we are unsure technically yet, what that start date will be in FY17. So that's still a little bit of a fuzzy component that we're not aware of as we go forward. As we develop the FY17 budget, that'll become more definitive for us. But our recruiting effort needs to be a full-time and year-round effort. There's no doubt it has to ramp up at points within 3 to 6 months within advance of a test. But we always need to have the effort and interest into the community of recruiting so that we keep that presence and keep people interested in Montgomery County Fire Rescue. So recruiting is a big thing, and everybody who is a member of MCFRS is a recruiter for MCFRS.
Correct.
And can spread that knowledge of what our organization is. What other elements are you working on and have you set in motion?
Some more elements that I'm working on. A couple of the things that we didn't have in place per the EEOC, which is the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, federal. I'm taking care of now as far as posting the discrimination and harassment posters and policies in the firehouses in each workspace. Also, I'm putting together my cadre of EEO counselors along with deputies. They pretty much are going to be in the field and accessible to everybody if they have an EEO issue, complaint, or just question. That group will also be diverse. Everybody will be represented. By that I mean from females to African Americans to Latinos to Asians, and even on the volunteer component, I'll have a liaison. So everybody will be represented.
And there's no doubt that we can't have a single point of intake or single person doing EEO counseling and outreach, because there's many different things that influence our comfort levels of outreach as well as communications. And a good cadre of diverse folks will improve people's willingness to have a question and get the right information and reach out to one of your team members.
Correct.
So
I have a number of individuals that I kind of interviewed and talked to already, and I've had a number of people who reached out to me with interest in becoming an EEO counselor. So I'm still going to do some more interviews. They add some more people. My goal is to have a number of 20 counselors, 4 per battalion, so that way it's evenly across the board and everybody is accessible to at least one counselor.
So obviously, if people listen to this and they have that thought about it, or they want to think about it, they should get a hold of you and
absolutely contact me.
Have a conversation and see if they're interested.
Absolutely, contact me.
Welcome all interest.
Yes.
So what else is going on, and anything else that you want to communicate out to everybody in the department about your activities and our organization?
I want everybody to know that with the EEO and diversity, they're 2 separate things. My main job is to make sure the department is in compliance with the EEO laws. That's foremost, to make sure we're in compliant. And also, if there's any, go over the policies, review the policies. If they need to be updated with the current laws, then I'm involved with doing that. Also, with that said, the diversity, we have to be in the community. We represent the community. We serve the community. We need to be out there in the community. And I go back for a minute and talk about recruiting. We don't want to just reach out to somebody for recruiting. We want to build relationships to show the person and applicants that we really want you to join the fire department. Not just randomly picking people to apply for the department just for numbers.
Just recently was the annual National Night Out event, and I know a lot of stations were out. Obviously, there's a lot of community events during that activity. It was over 16,000, I believe, across the country, and many in Montgomery County. And I saw many companies out at those events, and that's only one event, one day throughout the year, but that's a trademark element of our Safety in Our Neighborhood program, is being in the community. And I want to see our companies expand that to homeowners associations and community events, because when we can schedule and coordinate our involvement with the communities, they're going to be more receptive to us, and there'll be better exchange and interactions. So that's something that we're working on, the retooling the safety in the neighborhood versus Saturday afternoons to a more flexible component that's in conjunction with our homeowners association.
Absolutely.
Our battalions, homeowners associations need to be tied in together, just like I've tied my our division chiefs into the regional directors, so that there's a contact between the regional directors who are an outreach of county government to their communities back to the fire rescue. And that's something our folks will see coming forward as to getting the station officers scheduling, with their homeowners associations to go to homeowners meetings or community events, and not just the national night out one night a year. So that's being tied into the community, because our first goal is to what? Prevent that 911 call.
Correct.
And how we can prevent it is by education first. Obviously, we react to the ones we do get, but our goal would be to prevent through outreach and education.
Exactly. Which is what all of this training is. We don't want anybody to think that we're specifically saying that we have an issue. We have issues, or certain people have issues, or stations. We are merely putting the training out just to educate everybody and make everybody aware.
And there is a requirement through the County Office of Human Resources that we have a reoccurring training program, that they actually have a reoccurring requirement for this. And as you mentioned, we're working in conjunction with them to develop this, and our program may then be taken by county government and broadly disseminated to the rest of county government. So it's something we're doing as a requirement and as a benefit to always reoccurring training. We do EMT once, but we don't keep it forever.
Yeah.
We got to do it every 3 years. We do fire skills. We do those refreshers. So this is just a refresher of what we got when you first came in the department at some point in the years gone past.
Correct.
So good point. Anything else from your seat?
Yeah, as far as training for myself, I've reached out to other EEO officers in other departments. I've been working closely with Jay Grove from Fairfax County and Aisha Johnson from PG County. And also I've been working with Sherry Luck at Mifrey, who's the equity director out there. And along with our county EEO officer, Angela Washington, who, as you said about the county taking on that program, she's in full agreement with that, where it's going to be countywide.
Right, and that's another perpetuation of, we are not just Montgomery County, we are part of the National Capital Region, as well as, any way else to describe it. We as a regional fire departments all have to work together and do work together and benefit from those interactions cross agencies. So, good deal. Well, any last comments, reference what's going on in your world and what you're doing and what the people in the stations can do for you?
Yep. Chief, for the members in the field, if you have any questions at all about EEO, diversity, or just my roles and my positions, feel free to ask me. I'm very approachable. Everybody who knows me, I'm an approachable person. We want to cut down on the rumors and give you the facts. And again, it's about education. It's going to come down to education. But the only way for this program to work is, of course, it's got to be supported from the top, which it is. I mean, from day one, the support has come, along with the support from members I've talked to in the field. So we're in a good position, and we're moving in the right direction.
So they can shoot you an email.
Shoot me an email.
They can see you when you're riding, when you're still working in the field.
Exactly.
Touch base with you and make sure that they open that door and open that communications.
Correct.
So
correct.
Good deal. So as we undoubtedly have always a large list of things to do for recognitions. This month we have recently had the Maryland State Firemen's Association annual convention in Ocean City. This year during the convention, Johnny Roth assumed the role as president of that association. Johnny's been a Montgomery County volunteer for just shy of 50 years and now assumed the role as president of the association. During that convention, many units from Montgomery County, both personnel and apparatus received recognition for their participation in the parade, as well as other appointed positions and nominated positions within MSFA. I want to say good job, acknowledge those folks, and congratulations. Every day we run calls, a little over 300 calls a day. Recently, Station 1A shift had 2 CPR saves in the same shift. CPR saves are paramount and an amazing event. 2 within the same shift are great, and great. It's amazing what the benefits, as we've seen, of high-performance CPR do for the patient. 15 minutes, 18 minutes of high-performance CPR with that pit crew attitude of patient care and crew rotation gets results. Our high-performance CPR saves percentage is about 40% and still rising. While this started as a B-shift thing back when it was a protocol test and a trial, obviously we've rolled it out throughout the department, and now it's a statewide protocol change for HP CPRs, as we refer to it. Great work by Station 1, great work by every station, every crew, on every call, and when we can do that return of spontaneous circulation and transport that patient to the ER, talking, breathing, and with a pulse, great work. And again, AEDs locally save lives for sure. Additionally, we talk about recognition. I wanted to highlight the Community Emergency Response Team and their 4th annual recognition and CertCon 2015. Back in June, they had a 2-day event down at University of Maryland, Shady Grove, in which over 200 people attended from 30 CERT programs throughout the East Coast, and including as far as the Midwest in the states of Wisconsin. Those folks came together for a 2-day event of exercise, presentations, discussions, information exchange, and has recently been recognized on the FEMA website as a model of spreading the information of what our citizen responders, community emergency response teams, can do to assist their own citizenry, their neighbors, as well as their public safety components of MCFRS. So to Greg St. James, the members of MCFRS's CERT team, great job, thank you very much, and good job hosting CertCon 2015. As we roll into summer, we're now in August. You've heard me talking about hydration. I think we're at our 13th or 14th straight day in the 90 degrees. We always have to be ready for the heat and humidity. We always have to be prepared that as soon as we start our shift or our standby, that we get a call. That call may be a fire call and it may be a long duration call, so we have to come to work ready to go. Again, hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. Take care of yourself. Be prepared for your events. As I mentioned before, Montgomery County Fire Rescue is always busy. Over 300 calls a day. You have to be ready for those calls. But take the time to train, because your training is going to benefit you as well as the citizenry for that next event. Next month, Emmett Winston from Station 26C will be here and join me at the table in the seat Dave has as we move on to the next Fire Chief's video message. So we're wrapping up summer. Schools will get back into session before we videotape again. Remember, when those school buses are out, you always have to slow down and watch out for the children and the kids. As they are excited to go back to school, our traffic increases around our school zones and the school buses. So take care, be safe, have a good time.